Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. So I am right now at my dad's house in the backyard, and I figured I would come out here because I was looking outside today, and I was just looking at like all this stuff that I'm super excited for springtime, and I figured I'd just kind of like bring you guys along, especially because I haven't actually done like a tour of the yard or anything before, so this will give you a good idea. And I think I'll do the same thing at my mom's too, so that way you can see like how things look now and then how they're going to look in the next few months, because obviously the growing season is coming up really soon. So I'm recording this on March 19th. I think today's March 19th, and today is the last cold day that I think we're going to be having, like in general. So it's the high today is like 39 degrees. It's like 37 right now. There's a little bit of wind. I also am trying out this microphone that I haven't used before for videos, so I'm hoping it turns out okay. I'm hoping it blocks out some of the wind, but I might need to get something for that. Anyways, that's technical stuff I got to figure out. So I'm just going to kind of walk around the yard and just show you how things look, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about a bunch of different plants, but just kind of treat this as like a late March garden tour, like right before everything breaks dormancy. Okay, so starting off right here, this is a really interesting project that we did last year. So all of these right here, these are called green giant arborvitaes, and if I pan to the other side of the yard, they're also right over there. Oh, it just went out of focus, right there. All right, it got a little windy there for a second. So these arborvitaes we planted 2 years ago, and then these ones over here we just planted last spring. Actually, right around this time last year. It was sometime in March or April. I'm actually going to be making a video on these really quick, and more on the other arbs. But if you look at these right here, so these are obviously pretty small. They're about maybe like 3 feet tall. They come up a little bit higher than my waist. But you can see like this particular arborvitae. Do you see how there's one stem there and then there's like another one there, or stalk, whatever you want to call it? So you want to have one type of leader with the arborvitaes. So I'm going to make a video where we're going to actually just be like cutting off a little part of whatever we don't want to be the leader, just so that way they have more of a pyramid shape and they have one main branch that's coming straight up. So anyways, but these arborvitaes are really cool because they're definitely like the fastest growing arborvitaes that you can get, and they don't look like a whole lot right now, but we're actually eventually going to take out this whole fence right here, and then it'll just be like a nice big wall of green. Now, if I walk, try not to go too fast. I'm sorry if the wind is a lot. It does get windy back here, kind of like in the afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock right now. But these arborvitaes over here, I think there's a few less on this side than there are on that side. These ones are just a little bit taller. They didn't grow a whole lot last year, but I'm really excited for these this year because the like rule or whatever you want to call it that I heard about arborvitaes, and with a lot of plants in general, is so first year they sleep, so they don't really do much the first year that you plant them. And my thumb is out of focus. That's kind of funny. First year they sleep, second year they creep, third year they leap. This is their third year, so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Now you can see we put in this shed actually last fall. I wasn't making videos at the time, so I didn't do anything, but I'll make another video too, just going through this. There's a lot of videos to make. So you can see that those arborvitaes back there, they do get quite a bit more shade, so I'm not really expecting them to grow as much. And all of these arborvitaes, they don't get a ton of sun, not nearly as much as what those get, so I'm a little more excited for those arborvitaes. But anyways, so these ones we have to clean up a little bit more, because you can see like this one right here, there's a bunch of different leaders, there's no particular leader. So I have to fix them so they look a little bit more like this one. So this is what I'm going to be focusing more on the video on. But anyways, you can see just what these look like. I'll walk back a little bit. And then you can see behind the arborvitaes, see how there's that black chain link fence? So we put that fence in right before we put the arborvitaes in. And the reason why is we don't have any dogs right now, but my dad does eventually want to get dogs in the future. And you can see that there's a fence over here, and then there's that wooden fence over there. So we want to have the whole yard fenced in. But eventually what will happen is these arborvitaes will grow right through the fence, and then you won't even see it. But it's still there just for any animals to not get in or out. And we just haven't done it to the other arborvitaes yet. But yeah, you won't see that in the future at all. These are still going to take a number of years to get there, but I think they're going to grow quite a bit this year. So I'm really excited for those. All right, so the next thing I'm really excited for, going back over here in the backyard, what I will say is that our yard is kind of a mess right now. You can see the big wood pile that was left over from when we did the shed. There's a lot of like like pine needles and leaves and branches and stuff like that along the back, and we just kind of threw it back there for the winter time as well as all that kind of stuff, just because I mean we didn't finish that shed till like almost November, so we just kind of like threw everything back there for the winter just so it was like prepared. And then you can see all this over here. So this area is going to become really interesting because this is where we're going to put our garden. Before we planted these arborvitaes, this whole area, because it was a planter bed beforehand, we used to plant all of our vegetable plants there. And we actually didn't even have a garden last year because we planted those arborvitaes. I just had a few things in some small pots, but I was kind of okay with taking a break for a year. But anyways, so what we're going to do this year is we're going to put in some, I don't know actually how many we're going to do, and we're going to be doing it very soon. But we're going to be putting in raised beds right over here. Wow, it's getting windy. I don't know if you can see like the pine trees above. So anyways, there'll be some raised beds going in here. This over here actually, where you can see the sand, this actually used to be where our old shed was, and it just was not working out for us. It's not nearly big enough. So it's just kind of sandy right there and kind of a mess for now. But anyways, this will all be cleaned up this spring. We're going to put some raised beds in, and then we're going to grow some great stuff. Okay, I'm realizing how windy it is and how the audio is not picking up super well. So I'm going to pick this back up tomorrow. It'll only be a 2 seconds for you, but then I'll go over the rest of the stuff, and that's going to be more like the front yard. All right, so it's a new day, less windier than yesterday, definitely warmer too. It was like 37, I think, when I was filming yesterday, and it's like 55 today. So much warmer. We're finally out of like the cold temperatures of the winter. But yeah, so I'll pick up. Right now, I'm in front of the side of the house, and I'll show you some other stuff like right along where like the front yard meets the backyard, where we have some other plants. So this tree right here, this is a birch tree. I think it's just called a river birch, and I'm really, really excited for this tree. You can see it's a pretty good size right now, but it's still on the smaller side. I'd say it's probably about somewhere between like 10 and 15 feet tall at like the absolute top up there. But this tree is on its 3rd year, so we planted it in like the spring, I think, of 2019, I want to say. So it grew last year, and it grew a pretty good amount, which is really great. I remember looking at some of these branches over here, and I specifically followed, I think it was this branch right here, and it started off all the way down there, and it grew like this much in 1 year. It grew a ton. But this year, I think it's really going to grow quite a bit, and especially provide like a lot of like shade, especially for the cars, because it gets really hot on this driveway, because this is the south-facing side. So it'll provide some shade in this area, a little more privacy, and also another thing that we're going to be doing soon, not yet, because I want to wait until, just wait a little bit longer for this tree, because this is one of the last trees to break dormancy. But you can see that there's just a little bit of a trunk, and it's finally starting to gain some color on it. You can see that it has like the white like bark to it, obviously like a regular birch could have. Actually, if I go into the other side where the sun is, you could probably see a little bit better. Yeah, you can see the white color that it has. So it finally started to show that last year. It was definitely very brown at the top. Like if I go further up, you can see that it kind of changes to a brown color. So it's definitely going to have a nice color to it. And we're gonna limb up some of those branches at the bottom. So probably like maybe up till about here or so, we'll cut off the branches, and every year we'll just take off just a few more branches, probably until it's at the top of that post right there. That's probably where we'll stop it, and then we'll just let it grow up from there. All right, and then this tree right here doesn't look like much, and I know it's a little hard to see, so I'm just trying to move around so you can see it. This tree is a redbud forest pansy. Is that what it's called? So it's a redbud tree. And it's the forest pansy, so it's actually like it has like purple leaves in the summertime. It's pretty like skimpy right now. We just planted this last spring, so it really hasn't really grown really at all actually since we've gotten it. But this year will be really exciting. I'm hoping that it's going to have flowers on it, because that's what redbuds are really known for. You can see that it's starting to bud up right now. But this whole area is what's going to be changing quite a bit this year. So we got the birch all the way down at the end, and then we have this tree right here. So this tree is going to be like the anchor for the end of the flower bed, and all of this grass over here from like this point on, kind of going on a diagonal, we're going to make some sort of flower bed here, and we're going to add some other stuff. We might be doing like a weeping blue spruce in the middle, a couple grasses, just to kind of create like a perimeter border, but then we're still going to have a little bit of grass growing out to the street. So there'll still be something here, but it'll just give a lot more stuff to like look at, just a little more separation, and I think it's going to be really nice, and obviously give us some more opportunities for plants. All right, the next thing I wanted to show you, which this is actually right next to our side door that we use all the time. So I'm still on the driveway over here, but you can see this is just like right in the front of the house, and right here, this is an area that we created last year, which is definitely one of my favorite projects that we've done so far. So this is a succulent garden. These are all hardy succulents that can survive our zone 6B winters, which this winter we had more of a zone 7, like 7A, 7B winter. So it's been a little bit warmer, but not super warm. But I planted a bunch of succulents here last year, and you can see some stuff here. There's definitely some stuff that still gives some type of winter interest. The cacti, they kind of like wrinkle up. You can see like they like shrivel up throughout the winter, and they're also flat on the ground, but they will stand straight up, and they actually grew a ton last year. So every year I actually have to like take off a bunch of these little like individual parts to them just to keep them like size checked. But they're doing super well. And because this is a south-facing area, they get a ton of sun and a ton of heat. There's a lot of heat that radiates off of the house, which these plants are definitely like the best plants to do. So I have a couple other things, like I'll get my shadow out of the way. There's a sedum here, and I left this here for some winter interest because you can see that it does provide some height to it. That's about the size that I got to last year. So I just left that there, but I'm going to be cutting that back really soon. Actually, I might even do that today, just because, I don't know if you can see in here, there are some things starting to grow at the bottom there. And then same thing with here, this is another sedum, just a different variety. You can see some more there. So this one has more of a greenish color with like some yellow chartreusey green mixed in. And then down here, this is like more like a darker purple one. There's a few other things scattered around. You can see some of those there. There's like the hens and chicks and that kind of stuff. You can see this, and my shadow is very much in the way. But you can see the purple down there. You can see how they started to travel outwards last year. So I think this one's going to grow quite a bit. So yeah, but this will be the first year watching them come back. So I'm not like super sure how well it's going to do, but I think they're going to do well. And then there's another one here. You can see this. This actually kept some structure during the winter time, but these grew a lot. And all these stems that you see here that I cut back, those were flowering stems, just like this was. So I think this is going to grow quite a bit. And what will happen is a lot of these are kind of like spreaders. Like that one's a spreader. The hens and chicks are spreaders. So eventually you won't actually see that many rocks at all, and they'll take up this whole area. So it'll be a really cool look, but it's going to take, a number of years for that to happen. So there's probably like a million different things that I could talk about today that I'm really excited for this year. But I hope this gave you just some insight. Let me actually turn this way. You can see me a little bit better. I hope this gave you some insight on like just what I'm excited about, like what's going to be happening this year, and how the plants are looking now before the growing season starts and all that kind of stuff. We're kind of just like prepping right now for the season to get started. There's some stuff that I need to cut back, stuff I need to clean up. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a really exciting year. But it'll be interesting because I'm going to be going to college in the fall. So I'm gonna have to show my dad a lot of stuff that I've been doing by myself when it comes to like taking care of plants or cutting things back, or just different maintenance things. But anyways, there's still a lot that's going to happen in the next number of months before that even happens. And then we'll see what happens when I get to college, what kind of stuff I can work on up there. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. If you have any questions about any of the plants that I talked about today, or any of the plans that we're going to be doing, let me know in the comments down below, and I'm gonna take you guys with me through all the projects that we're doing, everything that we're working on, just to show you like as much of the knowledge that I know that I can share, and just to give like a visual perspective of everything that's happening. So yeah, besides that, I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you in the next one.